伊朗核谈判破裂，所有外交出口都已关闭。美国国务院批准非必要人员撤离伊拉克，国防部长赫格塞斯也批准了中东地区军人家属的撤离。老美准备应对以色列可能对伊朗发动袭击，同时撤离大使馆，已从巴格达和埃尔比勒撤出外交官，表明美国严重担心以色列可能在未经华盛顿批准的情况下对伊朗核设施发动袭击。哥伦比亚广播公司资深白宫记者刚刚抛出重磅炸弹。美国官员证实，以色列已做好充分准备对伊朗发动行动，并警告伊朗可能会对美国在伊拉克的基地进行报复。特朗普也给出了答案。
Well, they are being moved out because it could be a dangerous place, and we'll see what happens. But they are being. We've given notice to move out. We'll see what happens.
Is there anything that can be done to dial the temperature down in the region?
They can't have a nuclear weapon. Very simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon. We're not going to allow that.
伊朗不时尔港石化厂发生大火，美国全国暴乱加剧。据美媒报道，全国各地大大小小的城市举行更多抗议活动，以抵制特朗普在其79岁生日之际举行的朝鲜式军事阅兵。斯波坎市逮捕30余名抗议者，抗议者封锁了 S 设施外的道路后，警方确认逮捕主要涉及轻罪。由于人群拒绝驱散命令，市长宣布进入紧急状态并实行宵禁。反 S1暴徒将一个瓶子扔到洛杉矶县治安官的脸上，随后被围攻。在西雅图烟花袭击事件后，警方增派了30多名警员，当局对向执法人员投掷烟花的混乱暴徒采取了全力应对措施。接下来是最搞笑的，美国国会正在调查，联邦调查局正在追踪这笔资金，称洛杉矶 S 抗议活动并不是草根抵抗，而是旨在破坏美国稳定的咱们资助的戏剧，还称本周末计划举行1800多场抗议活动。
Sentiment. It's why so many of the protesters at the LA anti-ICE riots are flying Palestinian flags while burning the American flag, whether it be a BLM riot, a pro-Palestinian encampment, or an attempt to impede ICE from enforcing federal immigration laws. These protests are all organized by the same professional left-wing activists whose intent is to cause as much civil unrest and chaos as possible. Elias Rodriguez, the man who shot and killed 2 Israeli embassy officials last month, was deeply involved in this far-left activist ecosystem. Mr. Carafano, what far-left groups was Elias Rodriguez involved with?
So you raise a really important point, which is why that the threat of anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism in the United States is a bigger and broader problem. Because when we look at the organizations which have supported and encouraged or discussed these...
I'm short on time, Mr. Carafano.
Yeah.
What organizations?
So this is the Party of Socialism and Liberation.
Great.
Which has also been engaged in activities like BLM and other riots as well.
Now, would that be linked to Neville Ray Singham? Does that name ring a bell?
He is widely recognized as a major funder of the organization. And that's from Wikipedia, so...
Right. And just to go further on who Neville Ray Singham is, he's the son of a Sri Lankan immigrant and Cuban immigrant. But in 1974, he was investigated by the FBI for his ties to groups engaged against the United States interest. He was a member of a Maoist group. He's also said to be nearly a billionaire and gives his money frequently to left-wing organizations. He's even linked to the CCP. He currently lives and works in Shanghai. He shares office space with a Chinese propaganda firm focused on presenting a positive image of China to the global South. And in 2019, he started a consulting business with Chinese partners active in the propaganda apparatus of the CCP. He has provided significant funding to pro-China media outlets around the world, and he even married Jody Evans, the founder of Code Pink, in 2017. She used to be against China, but she's not anymore, and she's currently co-authoring a book titled China is Not Our Enemy. You know what's really interesting about this man is he uses the Goldman Sachs Philanthropy Fund. There's a lot of Americans invest their money with Goldman Sachs, but the Goldman Sachs Philanthropy Fund is a dark money clearinghouse to obscure his identity, Singham's identity, while facilitating the transfer of substantial sums to nonprofit. Things like the People's Forum, which received over $20 million from Singham through the Goldman Sachs Philanthropy Fund, organized anti-Israel protests across the country, and was heavily involved in the protests at Columbia and the takeover of Hamilton Mall. Singham also funds $20 million through the Goldman Sachs Philanthropy Group to the Justice and Education Fund, which provides money to pro-China media outlets around the world. And, just as you mentioned, the Party of Socialism and Liberation. That's the group that's organizing these lovely events happening in LA that Democrats call mostly peaceful, but the people in LA call fiery, violent, and call a war against America. He also funded, and unbelievably, the pro-Palestinian protests around the country and on campuses, and Elias Rodriguez, the man who killed the 2 young Israeli diplomats. And more to come is what the Democrats tell us. Mr. Carafano, one last question. Do you believe China is funding the war against America?
There's a lot of activity in the public record that show Chinese money is flowing into many of these organizations which have been involved in planning and organizing and supporting these activities. Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Carafano. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.